Hello everyone, welcome back to SBR Pythons. Today we're going to do a video just talking a little bit about the admin, how I operate SBR Pythons from a bedroom. I've had a couple of people in my DMs on Instagram lately. I try to answer every single one, but I do get quite a few, but I am pretty good at it, to be fair, I must admit. Mainly because I'm on social media all the time at the minute, especially in this isolation. But just sort of going around the room a little bit, showing you what I've got here in terms of how I'm operating it. The different bits and bobs that I use that sort of maybe make sense to me and other people can implement if they're not already doing so, and things like that, such as tags and whiteboards and all sorts of little bits and bobs. Just a sort of helpful video. But firstly, I want to say I hope everyone's staying safe. I've been releasing a couple of videos that have been pre-recorded. I'm thinking that I was going to be back at work by now or in the last couple of weeks. So I thought of pre-planned them and released them over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks. As the case has turned out, I'm not back at work, so I'm back to recording normally. But yeah, this is my first opportunity to sort of say just stay safe, and I hope everyone's following the government guidelines, and hopefully this will pass soon. You know, we've got Doncaster in June. I'm a little bit suspicious as to whether that's going to be going ahead personally. I do think the August will go ahead. I'm fairly optimistic. I think this will have all blown over by the end of June, or at least I'm hoping so, mainly for my own sanity, because it is boring time, quite frankly. I was working from home and I'm not doing that now, so I'm just sort of killing time. But there we go, that's just sort of, it is an unprecedented time, isn't it? So just stay safe, as I say. But yeah, so we'll move straight in. The first bit of admin I've got is what you're going to see behind me. Hopefully it focuses, is the whiteboard. So I recently picked this up about 2-3 months ago, I want to say. And sort of the inspiration I had behind the whiteboard idea was JB. Morph City Reptiles got one. There's, you know, everyone's using reptiles to be whiteboards, to be fair, but my indicators, as I've gone over before, black means I've paired the animals, blue means that they've had a lock. So for example, the double het clown pied, you can see, had a perfect sort of, every introduction had a lock, which is fantastic. That's what we look for. Red is an ovulation, so I've got 4 of them now, which is pretty exciting. And then green is lay. I've only got 1 lay. At the time of recording, you'll be seeing this next week, and the female that's next due to drop a clutch will be laying pretty much as you guys are seeing this, which is really exciting. But I find a whiteboard is incredibly helpful, just because you can get every piece of information for this season in a visual glance. So for example, I'm talking to someone now about the potential of a deal of an animal that's in the incubator, just talking through what I'm potentially producing and things like that, and what size might become available. And I can look up here and just see from this, you know, which ones have had ovulations and therefore which sires probably might become available based on what I produce. So it's just really good to have it as a visual glance. I love my whiteboard. I just think it's fantastic, as I say, and I'm really happy that I've got one, because I can just wipe that off and start again sort of as the start of next season begins. Snap a picture of that, and I've still got all of this year's information sort of at the sort of click of a finger, really. So next up we have the tags. Now this is one that I get asked all the time. What do my tags represent? So on the front of my tubs, I've got a red tag, and I'm sure I've been through this before, but I've got a red tag, which is a female. I've got a yellow tag, which is a male, as you can see. I've got yellow for my males, and then I also have blue for in shed. The reason I use blue for in shed is I've always thought that when a snake is blue, it's in shed because it goes opaque over the eyes and sort of goes that ghosty colour. So I always thought blue as a shed. I know a lot of people use the blue as males, so when they come in here and they see yellow and blue, they get confused. But this is the way I work it, and I don't know, it's just an old-fashioned thing. I've always said that when my snakes are in blue, they're in shed. So I've always done it as a blue is not male, but a yellow is a male. But it's just my way of doing it. I know that tickles Darren a little bit, bless his heart. But yeah, that's just simply the tags. What I do with my tags is I just hang the blue tags. You can't see it on camera, but I've got my V35 rack. I just hang my in-shed tags on the side of that, and then obviously I put my tags on the front of the tubs. I'll be showing you tubs in a second. Actually, yeah, we might as well go straight into the tubs. How do I work my tubs? I'll show you with one of these animals that's in here. I'll just take the water bowl out so I don't spill the water everywhere. So how I work my tubs, I hope that's in the shot there, is you get, what I've done is I've put a plastic wallet on the front with a business card, which I've got multi-purpose use for. So I'll show you that in a minute. But what I've done is I've put the business card on the front with my logo, and then put the name tag for the animal underneath. And what it stands is, M is obviously for male or female, the year that it was born, and then what it is. You'll also see in the top right on your screen, or is it the top left on your screen? Top left on your screen, I have a QR code. That's for my ReptiScan. I use Reptile Scan. Fantastic little sort of tool. And then obviously the tag as well. I just find, again, that's all about sort of being able to do this at a visual glance. You know, I know exactly what's where. So for example, when I move a female and a male together or whatever, I can just take the tag and I know that there's a male in there. And having the QR code there is it's extremely helpful because, as I've mentioned on a feeding video before, I can just get my phone out at the end of the day and just go through all the QR codes, put in all the information for feeding, or, you know, when they're shedding and weights and things like that. It's just easy to do at sort of one scan on the mobile. So a little bit about how I actually operate the room. The way in which I work it is, as you can see, this is what you see on all the videos. I've got my whiteboard, and then I've got two 10-tier V70 LP3s. I can't get much more in here. I suppose I could go up, but I don't really like the idea of having to get stalled and then still being, it just doesn't appeal to me. So I think this is what I'm gonna have to work with. It's annoying because it is a very limited amount of space for females, but it's, you know, it's working for me, and ultimately it kind of stops me from keeping too many things back, like holdbacks, or picking too much up. So it's kind of good in that sense. Moving on, we've got the LP V18 rack, which will come into play. I'm about to switch this on in about a week or two to make sure the temps are running perfectly again before the hatchlings pip out of the eggs. Next to that, we have a melamine rack, which I'm trying to replace. At the time of recording, I nearly got my hands on an LP V18 again, because I want to replace it just so that everything's sort of LP. Switching over to the other side, if you excuse the light, I'm not sure if that's going to get picked up on the camera, is the LP V35, which you guys saw me build about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I think it is, from when this video is going out. This is doing very well. Just a quick note on it. To be fair, exactly what I expected. Temps are perfect, males are happy, they're still feeding, -1, which is addicted to females, but I'll get him back on food some way or another. I've got something coming in which hopefully will help with that, and also I should be doing a video on that. But yeah, switching over again. Sorry, I'm making my brother do all sorts here today. We'll start up here. Excuse this is my work stuff, but we've got all of my sort of equipment and admin stuff. So all of the admin and you know, I've been through my equipment before. I'll leave a card up in the top right of your screen, and you can go and have a look at that if that's something that you're interested in. But these will eventually be flipping over onto the wall that you can't see, so that I can hopefully build these racks up as well. And then finally down here, we've got the incubator, which is a converted beer fridge I picked up for free from Aylesbury, from a pub that no longer needed it because obviously the cooling system had died. Converted it, put 3 heat mats in the back, and job done really. I haven't got a fan in mind because personally, what's not broken, why fix it? So I don't put a fan in there because my temps are running absolutely perfectly. I can show you, well, I can tell you right now, it's running at 88.5 and 89.2. So if something's not broken, why fix it? You know, I've done plenty of tests in there and found that that entire incubator is doing absolutely fine with sort of the temps. And I know that other people have gone through the hassle of putting a fan in, and then they don't use it because, like, they don't really need it. So to me, I mean, I've got a clutch in there now, which has been in there 2 weeks at the time of recording, and it's doing absolutely perfect. So in my opinion, I don't need a fan, but that's a little bit of a controversial. Some people say yes, some people say no. But that's sort of how I operate this. As you can see, it's very, very limited, and I've got such limited space, but I love it, and I'm finding a way to make it work. So the final little bit of admin side of it that I haven't touched upon is sort of the different little bits and bobs which I give out to customers or people, you know, when I'm vending at Doncaster and things like that. Just the little sort of extra pieces which I think make you look that little bit more professional, which ultimately I love the branding side of this. You'll see next week I'm going to be doing a video talking about why I think branding's so important, and talking a little bit about more the business side. Not that it is a business, but sort of the business sort of acumen and things like that, which comes with breeding these snakes. But I have got stickers, obviously. Everyone's got stickers. They sort of blew up last year, and I think everyone's still doing them, to be fair. So I've got some more printed. So if you want a sticker, get in touch and I'll see what I can sort out. The other things that I've got, I briefly mentioned, is a business card. So you can see that is the sort of new cover photo I've got for YouTube and Facebook, with all of the details underneath. And then what I was talking about before with the multi-purposes on the back is the front of the tubs. So it's just a black one, sort of a black base background with my logo on the top, where I can put the sort of label of the animal underneath. Just quickly talking about labels, I didn't mention the babies. Obviously, I won't be keeping all of them. So instead of writing, for example, Entry Orange Dream, possible het ultra male, 100% het pie, things like that on the tubs, all I should be doing is having Say for example, when the first animal comes out of the incubator, its identification will be 2022 0101. So it'll be the year, the clutch, the number of the animal that came out of the clutch. Very simple. Next up, we've got all of the different cards which I've just had done. I'll show you the back first actually. So on the back of all these cards is just my logo and again the information. So I've got 3 different card designs made up. These were made by David Bennett at DS Pythons. Thank you very much, David. I know that you did some for Darren Hughes and Eric down at Neighbours Constrictors, and a couple of other people have got in touch with you. He does some fantastic work, so definitely if you're looking for anything like this, check David out. So I got my Hatchling Cards done, which as you can see, again, it's just got my logo on. At the top, I'll fill in the information about the baby, and then I've got 6 columns. 6 columns, 3 of them will be for dates and the other 3 will be for what's happening. I printed 500 of these because I'm expecting to use around 2 for each hatchling to make sure they're fully feeding and things like that before I sort of move them on from sort of SBR Pythons. Next up, we have a clutch record. I should have really got mine out of the incubator because I've done one obviously, or I could have even written the next one out. But anyway, I haven't. But basically, this is very simple. So Paul Milner, I think, has done something similar. So check his video out as well, guys. So in the top, 2020, say for example, I fill out the entry pink yellow belly that's due to hatch by or drop, when you're seeing this. So 2020, it'll be clutch 2. The dam will be entry pink yellow belly het pied. Sire will be the banana gravel het pied. I'll put the weight of the eggs when I've sort of had them laid, the weight of the female after laying, how many locks they've had. So for example, that one will be, where is it? I can, 1 lock in fact. And then I'll just put the ovulation date, pre-lay shed date, when they were due and when they were laid, how many eggs, how many slugs, and then what is their due date. Then when they hatch out, just when they're due to hatch, or when they did hatch, sorry, did they all hatch, and any notes. So for example, with the black pastel to black pastel, did I get any kinking? Things like that I can just keep for my own record, but also I'll be duplicating them for females I sell so I can give them to the customers of those that buy proven females from me. And then finally, something very similar, I suppose you've seen to Darren and Eric's. I had mine done slightly different, so it didn't sort of seem like I was copying them, because I wanted to be slightly different. But yes, I did get the idea from them because I think it's fantastic, and I do hope you boys don't sort of, I'm sure you won't have any issues with that, but it's a fantastic idea. But in no way am I taking credit for it, is the genetic certificate, which is very simply, this certificate is SBR's assurance that the purchased animal below is the sex identified and carries the genetics as stated. So it's very simple. It's just my sort of guarantee. Again, it's got the logo, what are the parents, hatch date, what is the ID, so 2020 0104 for example, and then sex, titles, and again, notes. So these are sort of little things, where am I from? Sort of Essex? Things that I've done, or I've sort of thought of, or as I say, pinched a few ideas from people, just to sort of, as I say, make it look a little bit more professional, because I think it's so important. And a little bit of an overview on how I run SBR Pythons in terms of generally am running it. Not in terms of, you know, how I put the females and things like that together, but the overview of how I'm sort of making this sort of work from such a small environment. So there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed that video and it's been helpful to some people. Just a little bit of an overview, as I say, on how I run all of this. Do let me know if you guys have enjoyed this sort of video. I hope you guys are looking forward to the video next week talking about why I think branding is important. I'm looking forward to making that one because I do enjoy the business side of life. Obviously, I do a sales job now. What am I on about? I do a sales job now. I did business at A-level and things like that. So this is all sort of acumen which I have and I enjoy sort of expressing. But yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, hit the notification bell and turn the subscription button on. And yeah, look forward to the next video, guys. And thank you very much for watching.